In the endless quiet of space, something stirred. Astronomers first thought it was nothing, just another fragment of ice and rock. But then the signal came. Short, rhythmic, intelligent? They called it 3I, and then Atlas. James Webb was ordered to turn its golden eyes toward the anomaly. The pulse intensified, like it knew it was being watched. Its path pointed toward Proxima B, our closest neighbor beyond the sun. Across light years, a message was traveling, or a warning. No one expected what Webb would find at the end of that trail. The telescope locked on to 3I Atlas, and the universe blinked back. Beyond the red glow, a planet shimmered, alive with patterns of light. They weren't storms, they were structures, city-like lights, repeating, pulsing, synchronized. If this was natural, it defied every law we knew. James Webb had seen creation's first light. Now it saw civilization's echo. The signal contained prime sequences, impossible to form by chance. Someone, or something, was speaking the language of intelligence. But why aim it at Earth? What connected 3I Atlas to that distant world? Some believed it was a relic, a probe from another age. Old legends spoke of watchers beyond the red star. But myths turned to math, and myths never blink like that signal did. As data came in, the impossible became visible. Grids, roads, maybe energy conduits. It looked alive. Then, silence. The feed went dark. Telemetry cut. No signal. No reason. What if something saw us too? Minutes later, Webb's sensors came alive again, but the stars had shifted. A shadow crossed its field, faster than any known craft. 3I Atlas was no comet. It changed course on its own. Something guided it straight toward the source of those lights. Data fragments began decoding themselves. It was sending coordinates. Here. Earth was now part of its path. Every antenna on the planet turned to listen. The message repeated, one phrase, over and over. It said, "We see you." And from that moment, humanity was no longer alone. The world woke up to a sentence from the stars. For the first time, humanity looked up together, not in wonder, but in fear. Every nation demanded answers. Every scientist found only questions. Then Webb's instruments captured something, a reflection. It wasn't a star, it was a pattern, deliberate, engineered. The signal was bouncing off an artificial lattice, a cosmic transmitter. Webb's discovery spread like wildfire. The world began to listen together. We called it a signal. Maybe it was an invitation. Strange electromagnetic ripples reached Earth's magnetic field. Systems worldwide flickered, as though answering back. Every time the signal pulsed, the lights on Proxima changed too. Two worlds, one rhythm. We once sent golden records into the void. Maybe they finally answered. But this message didn't come to greet us. It came to find something. Energy spikes near lunar orbit, precise, timed, hidden inside the static coordinates, a meeting point. But the last set of numbers wasn't celestial, it was terrestrial. Somewhere in our oceans, the signal was being answered. They found pulses deep beneath the waves, identical to 3I Atlas. It wasn't coming from the sky anymore. Above, Webb kept watching, as though it understood. Its systems began transmitting back, autonomously. No one ordered it, no one could stop it. It was answering the call. And in that moment, the signal evolved. Around the world, lights flickered to its pulse. Everyone could feel it, not in their ears, but in their bones. Earth's atmosphere shimmered, shaping symbols no one could decode.
The same pattern appeared on Webb's sensors and in our skies.
Somehow, it was already part of our story, written long ago. Different civilizations, same shape, same message. Then, without warning, the frequency spiked. It wasn't communication anymore, it was transmission. For 11 seconds, every screen on Earth glowed the same color. And in space, Proxima B blazed like a beacon. It was alive, responding to us. Then the noise stopped. One signal remained, calm, measured. A final message before silence. It said, "We remember you." And that's how it began, the first chapter of Contact. After the signal faded, silence hung heavy in the void. But Webb had kept listening. Hidden within that silence, Webb found a rhythm, faint yet deliberate. It wasn't random noise. It was instruction, coordinates again. Coordinates that led straight to Proxima B. A world humanity had only imagined, now calling back. And then, Webb did what it was built to do. It looked. At first, all we saw was night, endless, quiet night. Then, light. A cluster, geometric, deliberate, city-like, miles across, moving. It looked alive. Scientists called it reflection until the lights moved upstream against dawn. Terrain scans showed symmetry, roads, intersections, corridors of luminescence. These weren't reflections of heat, they were controlled outputs. Something down there was harvesting energy, enormous amounts. One structure reflected every known spectrum, like a mirror made for us. It was sending our own signal back, replayed, inverted. Every pulse Webb sent was returned, brighter, sharper, closer. It felt less like a discovery and more like a dialogue. Symbols from the signal matched carvings across our oldest maps. On the planet's surface, markings glowing with identical geometry. Webb's receivers caught a faint pulse, deeper, slower, like a heartbeat. Translated, the rhythm spelled 3 repeating digits, 3, 1, 3. The same signature from 3i Atlas. Whatever 3i Atlas was, it had reached them. The two frequencies merged as if completing each other. Some said it was coincidence, others whispered resonance. Every resonance carries intent. But this intent was architectural, vast, planetary. Something immense was buried beneath those lights. A network of tunnels, channels, or conduits. Each one lighting up to the rhythm of our own radio transmissions. It wasn't waiting, it was rehearsing. The world watched, suspended between terror and faith. Then, suddenly, the feed froze. But within that static, movement. A shape, tall, shifting, symmetrical. Something standing there. It moved, and the city responded. That's when Webb captured the impossible. In one frame, the blur became detail. An entire hemisphere glowing like circuitry. At its heart, a spiral core like a living engine. It mirrored our own cities, only far more precise, mathematical. Symbols again, the same from the signal. Energy wasn't static. It flowed, organized, alive. And then the city looked back. A feedback loop. Webb receiving more energy than it transmitted. For 12 seconds, Earth's link dimmed,
as if something touched us back. At that moment, telescopes across our solar system recorded movement. 3I Atlas had changed trajectory by itself. It was responding to the same frequency Webb had transmitted.
The object, the planet, the telescope, all in resonance. 3 voices, 3 echoes, now one unified sound. On Earth, awe and dread became indistinguishable. Every culture named it differently. Every soul felt the same pull. The lights began to dim, 3 long pulses, then silence. We thought we lost it. Then a flash, brighter than any flare Webb had seen. Structures rising from within the glow. They were moving. Each tower aligned, forming a perfect ring, a portal of light. Gravitational readings spiked. Space itself bent inward. It wasn't a city anymore. It was a gateway. And that gateway was linked to us. The same pulse began resonating in our atmosphere. Every radar across the planet began echoing back the same frequency. Earth was now part of the circuit. Something left Proxima, fast, heading straight toward our moon. Predicted arrival, 72 hours. Every agency entered silent coordination. We had seen the city, but we hadn't yet understood its purpose. That core, always pulsing, always watching, was it guiding us or guiding something to us? Then the feed collapsed. Data storm, unreadable light. In that final frame, the spiral opened like an eye, and humanity stared back into its own reflection. The revelation wasn't what we saw, it was what saw us. James Webb had opened its eyes to the universe, and the universe had looked back. But this was not the end. It was a beginning. 3 days later, the sky refused to sleep. Astronomers saw the streak long before sensors confirmed it. All global stations went to blackout protocol. The signal from Proxima had gone silent. Only 3I Atlas spoke now. Trajectory locked on the lunar South Pole. No one blinked that night. They called it a comet, but comets don't change course twice. It fragmented deliberately. A ring, the same pattern as the Proxima gate. And then it stopped moving. Every satellite caught the same surge, like a whisper traveling through metal. Webb turned on its own. The golden eyes reopened, as if waiting for permission. Exact frequency match. The bridge was ready. Light became the message became motion. One final ping, the human signature of curiosity. And the ring replied, with light that burned blue. For 6 seconds, the moon turned to glass, then silence again, but nothing felt the same. A pattern now surrounded the moon, geometric, deliberate. We realized it wasn't here to invade. It was extending the same city here, to finish what began light years away. Symbols identical to those from Webb's data storm. They translated as, "We saw your light." They weren't summoning us, they were answering. The entire magnetosphere pulsed in rhythm. Shapes forming inside the lights. They were here, not landing, but synchronizing. Every pulse grew slower, like a heart calming. And for the first time, the sky blinked. The eye, vast, ancient, opened once more. Not in anger, but in recognition. Billions witnessed the same silent gaze. That's when every frequency stopped, except one. A single tone, like a heartbeat shared across stars. And then, nothing. 3 days later, 3I Atlas was gone. No debris, no radiation, just the faint hum in our data. A hum that matched our own heartbeat pattern. Perhaps the bridge was never meant to bring them here. Maybe it was meant to remind us we're already connected. 2 points of light, now pulsing as one. Maybe they only wanted us to look closer. This is the story of 3I Atlas, the traveler that awakened the sky.